the name Doug Poppa?
Yes, I do. God bless Doug Poppa, an honest cop.
I was elated, of course, but then as he testified, I was somewhat concerned for him, because I knew that they were probably going to crucify that man.
The top cop who put his badge on the line for justice.
One man who confronted truth and consequences.
Tonight, 12 years old, kidnapped and sexually assaulted. But somehow a local girl had the guts and awareness to remember specific details about her ordeal.
And those small details are helping big time in the case against her alleged attacker. And 13 Action News anchor Yasmin Hassan right now is live right now and shows you the types of things that you could coach your kids to take into account, Yasmin.
Police say the 12-year-old was forced into a truck onto the floor of the passenger side. Now, even though she had a jacket covering her face, she was still able to notice details like wires right near the dashboard, the interior color of the truck, the exterior color of the truck. And police say it's that fight or flight instinct that helps save lives and catch suspects.
You do whatever you have to do. Kick, scratch, scream. You do not want to get into the vehicle.
In this case, the 12-year-old girl says she had no choice. She says Antoine Perkins grabbed her by both arms and put her in a truck. Most of the details of the kidnapping and sexual assault are just too graphic to report. She says he even threatened to shoot her and kill her family. And even under these horrendous conditions, she was still able to tell police specific details.
Listen to the noises, not only in the car. What do you hear outside the vehicle? When the car was going, did it hit a lot of potholes? Did it feel like it was going over a bridge? Or did you hear no noise at all, which means they could be in a park or a secluded area?
She said she remembered the ride being bumpy. She also could hear a noise that sounded like texting, even able to describe Perkins, not just vague information. Yes, she said he was a black man with short black hair, but that wasn't all.
Children are a lot more aware of the way somebody looks, and they'll say he had funny skin, his skin was bumpy, or he had a beard, or he had one of those things without the beard over here. That's the way they describe it, you know, or he had one of those mustaches that just hangs down.
She told police Perkins had a beard on his chin and that he was not wearing any shoes. Even after getting out of the truck, she was still paying attention to everything. She asked the man for the time, and that's how she knew he had her for 3 hours.
You know, she did good. She gave a lot of leads to the police because that's what it's all about.
It sounds to me like she had enough self-confidence and smart thinking to make the right call. And she obviously did the right thing because she's here today.
Police believe that Perkins may be linked to another assault case. This one happened last year involving an 11-year-old. Now he is in police custody. Reporting live, Yasmin Hassan, 13 Action News, elevating Las Vegas.
They say he kidnapped and sexually assaulted a 12-year-old girl who was on her way to school.
Detectives told us the crime was so brazen they were looking into whether he had done something like it before. Today, police confirmed Perkins is linked to another sex assault.
And here is a picture of Perkins and a sketch Metro released last year. This sketch came out after an 11-year-old girl was sexually assaulted at gunpoint near Twain and Palos Verdes. Police tell us Perkins is a suspect in that case, too.
And new at 3, police have released a sketch of the suspect in the kidnapping and sexual assault case of an 11-year-old girl. Take a very good look at your screen right now. Metro says the man picked up the girl near Twain and Swenson last Wednesday afternoon. She was walking along when he offered her a ride in a black BMW. Police released surveillance video of that car last week. They say that the victim got into the car and the suspect assaulted her at gunpoint.
A man wanted by police for raping an 11-year-old girl.
This incident I want to portray was a very horrific sexual assault involving an 11-year-old female who was out looking for her siblings and was walking home alone.
Lieutenant Dave Valenta with Metro Police says the attack happened last Wednesday near Palos Verdes and East Twain on the east side of town. The suspect offered the child a ride in his black four-door BMW.
At that point, a gun was produced. Shirt was put over her head so she could not see.
The girl was eventually left naked. And
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. From Las Vegas, Nevada, this is episode 56 of Truth and Consequences with Doug Poppa, where the truth cannot be silenced, for Friday, June 25th, 2021. This episode is part 2 of an exclusive story I first broke on June 10th in episode 54. I would suggest you listen to episode 54 for further information in reference to what I will be discussing this morning in this episode. To summarize the events, on May 23, 2018, an 11-year-old girl was kidnapped and raped in Las Vegas. The following year, on January 24, 2018, a 12-year-old girl was kidnapped and raped in Las Vegas. Antoine Donnell Perkins was arrested on January 24, 2019, and subsequently indicted for those crimes on February 28, 2019. A jury trial is set for Perkins on September 20th, 2021. As I stated in episode 54, when I broke the story, according to Las Vegas Metro Police personnel who spoke exclusively to me, Clark County Sheriff Joseph Lombardo, who runs the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, orchestrated a cover-up to protect himself and the department from public embarrassment and humiliation, and to prevent potential civil action by the parents of the 12-year-old girl, who was kidnapped and raped because of incompetence and negligence by a supervisor and detectives in the sexual assault detail. I was told that had police done their job correctly in May of 2018, after the first kidnapping and rape, the kidnapping and rape of the second child, the 12-year-old girl in January of 2019, would never have occurred. The highest law enforcement officer in Clark County, Nevada, Sheriff Joseph Lombardo, made sure that this travesty of justice would never be known to the public, including the botched arrest and the escape of Antoine Perkins at McCarran International Airport on the evening of January 24th, 2019. Again, please review episode 54 for more details. Now, here is further information that was not revealed in episode 54. As I stated in episode 54, Las Vegas Metro police officers who were assigned to the Airport Bureau at McCarran International Airport solved the 2018 rape of the 11-year-old girl after viewing a sketch of the suspect, when they identified Antoine Perkins as a maintenance man who worked at the airport and drove a similar vehicle, a black BMW, that was used in the 2018 kidnapping and rape, and then they notified the sexual assault detail. According to police personnel who spoke to me, 2 of the airport police officers who notified the sexual assault detail after the first rape in May 2018 were Sergeant Michael Laudemeter and police officer Aaron Fink. Aaron Fink, from what I was told, tracked down the event number from a domestic violence call that he had handled with Antoine Perkins before being assigned to the Airport Bureau. Officer Fink went above and beyond, tracked down the event number to the domestic violence call, and then retrieved his body camera footage from his interaction with Perkins during the call, which I was told included video of Perkins' black BMW that was captured on the body camera footage. Then he was telling people at the airport, "This is the guy." They had the body camera footage of Perkins that fit his description from the sketch and his black BMW captured on body camera footage. Aaron Fink told the detectives that he had Perkins on the camera footage, in his car, and that he was the suspect identified in the sketch that was obtained by the 11-year-old victim. In lieu of just throwing a suspect's name out to the detectives, Aaron Fink, ladies and gentlemen, went further and obtained the body camera footage prior to notifying the detectives, just to be sure and to confirm. Sergeant Michael Laudemeter, from what I was told, documented Perkins' vehicle and said, "This is the car. I see this guy getting out of this black BMW at the airport employee parking lot every day." One of the sexual assault detail detectives who went to the airport and interviewed Antoine Perkins has been identified to me as Detective Michael Fortunato. From what I was told, Fortunato was making comments that he was upset about handling the case because he had something else to do and thought he was doing another detective's work. What alibi Antoine Perkins provided to the detectives is unknown to me. What I was told is that the sexual assault detectives left the airport without taking any further action. They just blew it off. They shit-canned it, did nothing with it, I was told. and the detectives then informed the Airport Bureau Police that the suspect in the sketch was not Antoine Perkins, much to the dismay of the Airport Bureau Police. They did not conduct a photo lineup with the victim, who described her attacker that led to the suspect's sketch. The detectives could have asked Perkins for consent to search his vehicle. They didn't even do that. A swab would have identified the girl's DNA inside the vehicle, which was parked inside the employee parking area at McCarran International Airport. What was there to lose by asking? Like I stated in episode 54, the sexual assault detail never followed up, did nothing for 7 months. And then in January of 2019, the second victim of Perkins, the 12-year-old girl walking to school, was kidnapped and raped. Now, let's examine the inaction of sexual assault detail Sergeant Beth Carroll. She was no less at fault. It was her responsibility to vet and verify everything, especially since it was a high-profile case. She clearly did not do that. Ultimately, it was Sergeant Carroll's failure. Sergeant Carroll did not do due diligence. As the sergeant in the sexual assault detail, it was her job to oversee every step of the investigation. This was a high-profile case, and they were getting a lot of pressure, which is amazing. They did nothing with the information they received from the airport police. The sexual assault detail was getting tremendous pressure on the kidnapping and rape of the 11-year-old girl, and they completely blew off the information that was provided to them by their colleagues at the Airport Bureau. They actually had a lead on a high-profile case, and it went nowhere. Sergeant Carroll didn't follow up on anything, never asked the detectives if they did a photo lineup with the victim. Nothing. It was such a high-profile case, like I said in episode 54, that then Captain Kelly McMahill called Detective Brittany Tommaso and berated her. And Tommaso wasn't even one of the detectives who had gone out to the airport to interview Perkins. She was the recipient of what the detectives who went out to the airport and interviewed Perkins told her. It's the sergeant's job to think outside the box. What did we miss the first time around? And all through this time, had the guy's name and information? Has anybody checked his alibi? Maybe we should go back and recheck his alibi. The Airport Bureau cops, from what I heard, were furious and saddened in January of 2019 when they found out that they had identified the suspect and had the case solved in May of 2018, and their colleagues did nothing with the information they provided, and it led to the kidnapping and rape of another little girl. And Sheriff Joseph Lombardo's answer to the botched investigation and the botched arrest of Antoine Perkins was to orchestrate a cover-up to protect himself and his department, and in effect, he couldn't care less about the second victim in 2019. Maybe Lombardo is directing another cover-up to cover up the cover-up. My hat goes off to the Airport Bureau cops for a job well done, including now retired Sergeant Jimmy Oakes, who wanted to pick up Antoine Perkins immediately at the airport on January 24th, 2019, but was told to stand down by Sergeant Beth Carroll. And we know how that turned out. An honorable mention goes out to Lieutenant Dave Valenta, who I understand wanted heads to roll after it was discovered that the detectives and their sergeant had royally screwed up, in the least. I was told Lieutenant Valenta, who has the reputation of being a straight arrow, was ordered to stand down and take no action, and that came directly from the office of Sheriff Lombardo when he directed the cover-up. By the way, Detective Michael Fortunato, back in October 2015, he came under scrutiny during the trial of Brian Goins, a former massage therapist who was facing life in prison for sexual assault, but the charges were reduced because Fortunato testified that no crime was committed. You can research that case online. Remember to subscribe to Truth and Consequences with Doug Poppa on YouTube and Facebook. Audio podcasts of all my episodes are available on Anchor, Spotify, and other platforms. Future episodes will expose more of Sheriff Joseph Lombardo's cover-ups and lies, the botched investigation into the unsolved 2016 Land Kaufman double homicide, and much more. That's it for this episode, folks. Have a nice day.